Yeah, so everyone, come on down. Half of the cast is missing right now, so don't worry. It's gonna happen, and it's not my fault this time. Make sure you got your drinks. Make sure you got your food. Make sure you've emptied your bladder. Because you are gonna have a wild ride. Indeed, it is potentially possible for this podcast to make you contemplate your place in life. And I am not held responsible for any decisions you come to as a result of this podcast. Now hold on to your seat, boys and girls. Because here we go. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9000. It is a Friday. It's a little bit past 7 p.m. And I'm your host, as always, SneakyDevil. Now, Atin's gonna join us eventually, but he's not here for now. So, it's gonna be a fun time. Now, let me just make sure that the chat is popped out for YouTube so I can properly respond to it. And respond to it. I say that like there's more than one person on YouTube that watches us.
Okay.
Hey, he's back.
Cleared up all the family issues, so I'm here now. Oh, good. The derail counter's up.
Yes, the derail counter is in fact up.
Excellent.
Alright, so let's get right on into it because, yes, I am back. Hold your applause.
He did not die in a hurricane, much to our chagrin.
Yes, it turns out, one-way trips to Vegas do not always end with you in a back alley with your kidneys missing.
So, how much cocaine did you do? You were in Vegas, so obviously you got the complimentary brick on the way in. I'm just wondering how much of it you used.
You know, see, we stayed at one of those lesser places, so all we got were rock pads. So anyway, due to popular demand, we're back. And by popular demand, I mean I, myself, and me all demanded that this start again, so here we are. And boy, do I have something for you guys. So, this man, I assume he's yeah, probably. Oh, right. Before I begin, please note that this is a work of parody, entertainment, and education. By fair use laws and the terms of consent and contract in fanfiction.net, we can fully use, display, or otherwise comment on the works posted to fanfiction.net. Do not harass or contact the authors displayed in this stream unless you are there to give constructive criticism.
And we don't mean our kind of constructive criticism, by the way. We mean actually constructive criticism. We mean actual
constructive criticism. Right. So this person has written a fair number of stories of Dragon Ball Z, and well, actually, he's got quite a smattering. You might have seen this man before, in your search for fanfiction. He's got decent chapters, decent chapter length, decent update rate. Back when it was a thing. Political correctness in this stream? No, it's not political correctness. This isn't called me covering my ass so I don't get sued.
Yeah. it's we don't want harassment lawsuits, so we're telling y'all.
It's the difference. Like, political correctness is me not saying retarded or fuck or something. This is more legal disclaimer.
That is literally what it is. It is a legal disclaimer.
Anyway. What hides beneath the surface? As always, I will be including the links into the Discord, and if you wish to read along, they will be there. The Discord link is in both the panel below for a Twitch watcher, and in the description below if you are a YouTuber. I will get that name to be popular. YouTuber.
I mean, good luck with that.
Yeah, I probably won't. What hides beneath the surface? By SSJ3 Kyubi Gohan. Yeah. You know this could be good. A slight change, a single moment too long, leads to old man Zangetsu getting capitalized man. Not being the primary spirit in charge of Ichigo's powers. Instead, his true Soul Reaper powers were allowed to grow and flourish, enhanced by the antithesis of the Quincy.
So, wait. Okay, just to be sure, this isn't the one we already did. This is just a similar one, right?
What's the one we already did? No, this is not an auto fic. This is a bleach fic.
Despite what the guy's author picture is. No, but didn't we already do... Yeah, we already did a No, we did a fic just like this, where someone else was like, oh, what if Ichigo's Soul Reaper powers grew like they were supposed to?
Yes, I do not think we've covered Kyubi Gohan.
No, okay, no, I don't think we have either. I just needed to go back in my mind, because I was like, wait a minute, this is really, really familiar.
Need some bleach after this.
There you go.
There you go. That's thinking progressively.
But I was just like, wait, we didn't already do this one, right?
It's a common... I don't want to say cliche. Yes, we all
And
live.
we don't want to say trope.
Yeah, I don't want to say trope or cliche. It's a... fanon theme?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with fanon theme. Fanon trend. Yeah, there we go. Fanon trend. It's a fairly common fanon trend of, oh, what if Ichigo's powers was actually laser beams?
It's not quite that bad.
There is one. What are you all ripping apart today? We are ripping up... I don't want to say ripping apart. More like meandering our way through. We may or may not make snide comments along the way. It's a bleach
may or may not. Okay, come on now. That makes it sound like there's a chance we won't.
I need euthanasia. Alright, so let's get right into it. Blah blah blah, there will be spoilers, what would happen if Ichigo's Quincy powers were Okay, so, for those who are unaware of Bleach, we're gonna get some spoilers thrown at you because it's fucking old as shit at this point. Okay, so, the whole idea with Bleach and Ichigo is that Ichigo is the son of a death god whose mother was experimented on with a hollow.
Okay,
and his
hold on.
mother was a Quincy.
Death gods is technically correct, but that makes it sound way too cool. They are less death gods and more Valkyries.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go through this story like Irma went through Florida, maybe. And and so anyway, with Ichigo, his Quincy powers ended up being the front man for his sword spirit, which technically merged with his hollow. And then his hollow and Shinigami powers were, like, intertwined or something. And then they weren't anymore. And, yeah, it's...
Listen, we stopped trying to make sense of this nonsense a long time ago. And we actually enjoyed this at some point.
I need to know which I'll have to drink. His Quincy powers made him a good corner. Listen, not even that could explain the plot. Yeah, no, I'm not really sure how to explain Bleach plot. It's sort of like, all according to Kekaku meets somehow this was a... There we go, that's how you explain Bleach. All according to Kekaku meets Bard fucked mad scientist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a startlingly...
That basically is how you explain Bleach. But okay, let's get into it. Yeah, blah blah blah. Legend. It's always nice when they do include a legend, because you gotta keep in mind that people do speak Australian and British English versus American English and blah blah blah. So it's nice. So single quotations in British English and Australian English does in fact mean talking. And double quotes do in fact mean thinking. In American English, it's the opposite. Now, I remember I actually queued up this story for a very specific reason. This guy, on his profile, flipped shit that people were commenting on his stories that he's dumb for using single quotes for talking and double quotes for thinking. And, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at this man's favorite pairing. Naruto and Mei.
Yeah.
As in, just to be sure,
yeah.
This man is referring to Overwatch.
No. Mei is the, fifth Hokage, Mizukage, so Land of Water Kage.
Oh, okay, that's...
She's a 40-ish-year-old woman with 2 bloodlines and a really large rack.
Okay, all of them have large racks.
Tsunade, large. A little bit less than Tsunade, yeah.
Anyway, while that is... It's better, but
yeah, it's not.
It's less interesting.
Yeah.
You know what? Someone out there, write that.
Naruto times my ever-increasing suicidal tendencies. Each boob contained 1 bloodline. Yeah, pretty much. But as I was saying, the point I wanted to make here is that Fanfiction.net is an American website. While it does contain sections for other languages, it is primarily Americans posting for Americans. Now, while our audience does not reflect that, being that we are...
I was gonna say, our audience doesn't reflect that in the slightest!
Being that it is 7 p.m. where we are, but apparently they're all insomniac psychopaths who are up at 2 a.m. But at the end of the day, it's an American website filled with Americans writing Americanese. expect your non-American English to be commented on repetitively forever.
Now,
if it was a British website, and you're writing British English, and Americans like, hey, you shouldn't write like that, you can be like, fuck off, it's a British website. But this is an American website. I'm not saying you can't write like that, I'm just saying don't flip shit when everyone and their fucking dog goes, hey, you're writing it wrong. Because they grew up being taught American English. So they're gonna look at your English and be like, why isn't it American?
Because this is a primarily American website.
We are, in fact, streaming. Isley, welcome. Can you have
We're finally
text
streaming
colors?
Because the hurricane finally decided that Sneaky was allowed to come home.
You can only have 2 text colors on fanfiction.net, white and black. I greatly dislike the black text on white. Burger me's. Indeed, burger me's. Anyway, so as I was saying, it's just good practice to, regardless of where you are, for English, to put your thoughts in italices. Because then no matter what, most people will not notice the quote marks. They'll look at the italics and be like, oh, they're thinking this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Italics is a weird one, because sometimes it's internal thoughts, sometimes it's used for emphasis.
Well, see, that's the difference, though. When it's used for internal thoughts, the entire thing is italicized. When it's used for emphasis, it's just a single word.
I was going to say, and then my favorite part of English is when you use italics on just one word to emphasize it, that's fine. And then when you use italics to do inner thoughts, it's also fine. And then when you need to emphasize a word in someone's inner thoughts, you put it in normal English. It's like, this is so fucking weird. English is such a weird fucking language. We speak it, and it's a weird fucking language.
English! Because fuck you, that's why. Anyway, so let's get right on into this story. Now that we've had our little English lesson. Chapter 1. What's hidden inside? It isn't Shinigami, it's Rukia Kuchiki, stated the petite black-haired girl, Rukia. Also possessed light skin, with violet-colored eyes, with a few strands of her hair hanging between them. Now, I'm gonna say, I don't mind people writing for fanfiction blind people, but that shouldn't be your main audience. Your main audience should be people who enjoy that fandom. So when you're writing a Bleach-only story, you don't need to describe every single Bleach character, because it's assumed, if you're reading Bleach stories, you know Bleach.
Yeah, it's not very likely that someone who came looking for Mass Effect fanfiction is going to find your Bleach story.
That's good, her skin isn't heavy.
Did you know, here's a pro weight loss tip, guys. Take off all your skin. It's at least 4 or 5 pounds.
Instantly lose some weight. Exactly, Kugel.
I guarantee, if you take off all of your skin...
You only need to explain characters that are deviating from the canon look or action. So, for Naruto story as an example, quit fucking talking about his fucking jumpsuit. We get it. He's wearing an orange jumpsuit. We know you don't need to describe it.
We don't need to know that he has, spiky blonde hair with deep blue eyes and a bright orange jumpsuit. We've all seen Naruto. We know what he looks like.
Speaking of Bleach, we'll meet a lot by the end of this.
Hey!
She's possessing someone's skin? Well, I mean, technically, yeah. You're stealing her? Anyway. She was garbed in the standard Shinigami uniform and was extending her Zanpakuto toward an orange-haired boy. Really? I thought she was a Sailor Fuku! If you don't get that reference, you are far too young for this.
I just don't have a comment to make. That's all. I'm not gonna dignify you with a response.
It's also a good idea to describe the main character that has customization, such as the Warden or the Inquisitor. Well, yes, obviously you should describe the main character if it's a deviation from the canon. But if it's like you're writing a Mass Effect story, and it's the standard Shepard, you really don't need to describe the standard Shepard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unless you're
making
us,
yeah,
you don't need to tell us what John and Jane Shepard look like.
Yeah. What the fuck is with our chat? Every Shinigami wearing a Sailor Fuku. Kenpachi!
Okay, I'm
now
willing to bet there's fan art of that, though.
No, you can never get rid of it. That mental image is forever in your brain. Anyway, I see, Ichigo Kurosaki. Let's hope that this isn't the last greeting we share. Beep boop. I am
Beep boop. I am human. Look at me. I have human emotions.
This is how humans talk to each other, said a fairly tall, lean-built young man with peach skin. Ichigo said this. Okay, so people might not understand why I'm getting so silent with this. Ichigo is about on the level of Ranma from Ranma 1/2 when it comes to informal speaking. Which is pretty fucking informal.
I was gonna say, here's the thing. You could easily get away with having Rukia speak very formally, at least at the beginning.
Well, obviously, yes, Rukia is going to speak formally, but it's like, you're describing the start of the first show.
Yeah.
You're not even deviating from canon yet. Use the fucking canon lines! No, I'm not misinterpreting who's speaking. What they're trying to say is, they're trying to have Ichigo introduce his name like, I see, your name is Rukia Kuchiki, mine is Ichigo. But instead of including that whole section, they just shortened it to, I see, Ichigo Kurosaki.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to have Ichigo tell the name. No. Said a fairly tall, lean-built young man with peach skin and brown eyes.
Yeah, the way English works, you listen here.
No. Too slow, growled the hollow, quickly shouted the down Shinigami. Yeah, no, that is Ichigo speaking. So it's just like...
Of course, it's a third person speaking.
Yes, he is speaking out of his ass.
I mean, let's be real, it won't be the first time Ichigo's spoken out of his ass in that show.
This is a true fact. Too slow, growled the hollow as it charged at the pair, oddly bolded. Quickly, shouted the downed Shinigami. No, there isn't enough time. Just lunge the blade through my chest. She's down.
What?
She can't lunge shit.
Yeah.
It should hit the hollow right in the face if you angle it upwards, and it won't see it coming with my body in the way. Okay.
But you just said it out loud!
That sentence is way too long for, again, Ichigo to say.
I was gonna say, first of all, yes, I agree with you. Far too long. It's far too long. It's nowhere near the way Ichigo would say anything. And last but not least, like I just said, sure, that might be a decent plan, but you just said it out loud. Talking is a free action. Yes, while talking might be a free action, Isley, that doesn't mean the enemy can't also listen to you as a free action.
No, okay, I'm actually looking up the script to the first episode right now.
Also, please stab me isn't the long and short of what he said.
Yes, please stab me is in fact. Okay, so here is the literal... By the way, Rukia and Ichigo met long before the Hollow showed up, so they both knew each other's names before that. Blah blah blah. Okay. Rukia goes, do you want to save your family? Ichigo goes, of course I do. If there's a way, tell me how. Rukia, it's only temporary, but you must become a Soul Reaper yourself. Ichigo, what? Rukia, you must take my Zanpakuto and run it through the center of your being, so that I may pour my powers into you. I can't guarantee you will live, but if it doesn't work, it won't matter. Ichigo's response, then give me that blade, Soul Reaper. That is how Ichigo talks. Not, no, there isn't enough time, just lunge the blade through my body, through my chest, sorry. It should hit the hollow right in its face if you angle it upwards, and it won't see it coming with my body in the way. That is not how Ichigo speaks.
Like, for crying out loud, he's just been told he's gonna get stabbed in the chest, and that there's a chance he'll gain the ability to help people. And he's just like, do it.
Yeah, then do it. Yeah, give me that blade. Ichigo follows a little bit more time every time he does, once he sacrifices humanity at a bonfire. He does the bleach thing. Shout out your Kekaku. Unfortunately, I do not believe that the author is trying to be ironic here. I unfortunately believe... Yes, Ichigo is a bit direct, Isley.
I was gonna say, that's how it's always been.
Yeah, he's... Show me the plots. Oh my god,
guys.
What
the hell is happening in our chat, yo? Y'all are a bunch of filthy perverts. Keep it up.
Anyway. And that's the last you'll hear from me on this, because you've already heard the transcript. So you know my opinion on this. Kitch, fine, but you better not die, Kurosaki. Okay, again, not the last time, apparently. You are writing them backwards!
I was gonna say, yes, they actually, I was about to say that. Like, wait a minute.
Congratulations! You figured out one's formal and the other is informal! You're fucking assigning it to the wrong person!
Okay, wait, no. There's one time when Rukia's informal. When she's showing off her terrible drawings.
That is a fair enough statement. Anyway. Said a reluctant Rukia. Rukia was the one that came up with the plan. Plunging the blade through Ichigo's chest, aided by Ichigo himself. The Hollow, unbeknownst to what was happening, had lunged at Ichigo when he turned his back, mouth open wide in preparation of swallowing Ichigo whole.
I have nothing to say to that.
All at once, there was a bright flash of light hiding what was happening on the darkened street. When the light faded away, only two entities remained. The downed Rukia and Ichigo with a mask on his face, which resembled that of a Hollow's. Ichigo soon collapsed, but Rukia turned away from the bright flash of light, and as such, she never noticed his mask. And once he hit the ground, the mask shattered before disintegrating, leaving no indication of him ever having a mask. The Hollow, who had literally just heard the fucking plan, still fell prey to it.
No one ever said Hollows were intelligent.
I see no comment. At least it worked, said Rukia, as she regained her bearings after having lost half of her powers. She lost all of her powers.
For a very long time.
Yeah, there's debate about that one, but yeah. In terms of why she didn't have her powers for so long, there's a debate about it, but, yeah.
I mean, they can debate all they like, but...
Yeah, all we know is she didn't have her powers. Which is important. Come to think of it, can normal Hollows even understand people speak? Yes, but not usually. Normal Hollows can be overly intelligent, and the overly intelligent Hollows, tend to, when they become, the big-ass, gigantic ones, like, they'll have special characteristics, according to the author, and then they'll start eating the Hollows, or the Menos? Yeah, the Menos Grande around them, and then they turn into, like, evolved forms of their first Hollow form. So they're like Pokemon, except there's an excessive amount of cannibalism. Which is still Pokemon, actually. I'm the most familiar with Bleach and watched till around the first fight with Gyaku. Yeah. Oh, hey, Sephi.
Oh, hey, Sephi.
Deathcullas or Outrider from Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs. Yeah, you're starting with this Star Trek shit again, and I'm still completely lost.
Don't bring up your stir tricks. We don't know nothing about them.
Anyway. I'm now clean. That's good to hear, Steffi. If you want to join us, you can always hop into the general and we'll drop you down to streaming. But otherwise...
why would we do that to that poor person?
I don't know. I want to watch her squirm. What? I never said it was noble motives.
I was gonna say, I thought we were trying to be nice to these people.
They're not here because I'm nice. A tall and medium-built man with light skin and gray eyes approached the scene. His hair was messy and a light blonde with strands framing the side of his face and hanging between his eyes. He also had a small amount of chin stubble. He wore a dark green shirt and pants topped with a black coat with a white diamond pattern along its bottom half. He also wore traditional Japanese wooden sandals and a striped dark green and white bucket hat that shadowed his eyes. "Well, you look like you could use a gig eye," said the man, with a hidden glint in his eyes which were shadowed by his hat. Buy your Bleach action dolls now.
Oh, please, those have been on the market for far too long.
Line break the next day. Line break! "Wow, I still can't believe a truck did that," said Yuzu. Yuzu had short light brown hair with short bank. Jesus fucking
Stop
Christ!
describing the characters!
Blah 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 blah, more description. "I can't believe they let the criminal get away," as he proceeded to describe what Karen looked like. "A truck? What's going on? They were there when the Hollow attacked, ? Thought Ichigo in confusion. Don't worry about all that, girls. We're still alive, right?" Placated Ishin.
But he wouldn't be confused. He knows, before this all happened, he knew that he could see ghosts.
Yes.
He knew he could see ghosts. He knew no one else could see them. So he wouldn't be like, why are they so confused? They saw it attacking them. There's nothing to be confused about, yo.
Yeah, it's, yeah. As he proceeded to describe Ichigo's father, "My dear Masaki, you were watching over us, making sure our precious daughters and delinquent sons stayed safe, weren't you?" asked Ishin. You're not actually supposed to capitalize that, and technically speaking,
Calvin, placated is a word.
Yeah, placated is a word. While pressing his face onto a life-sized poster of his deceased wife, Masaki. You actually do need a comma there, though. Deceased wife, comma, Masaki. "While you're at it, take down that gigantic poster. It's pathetic," said Karen harshly, causing Ishin to cry and complain to his poster of Masaki about his cruel, heartless parents.
Listen, your daughters are right. Your poster's creepy, old man.
I will say this, so I didn't know this was actually a thing because I wrote in the way that I saw books that were published being written in. There's this thing called dialogue tags, and it's parts of the sentence that aren't in dialogue that lead into or come after or in between dialogue. You don't capitalize those parts of the sentence unless it's, the start of the sentence. As you would. So yeah, if in this instance, "I'm going to school now, later, period," that is something Ichigo says, it wouldn't then have "said Ichigo," said would not be capitalized afterwards, because that is part of the sentence of the action of him saying it. However, you can have sentences afterwards, and, you can still capitalize them. It's depending on the words you're using after the dialogue. It's either still part of the dialogue sentence, or it's, a new sentence of itself.
Indeed.
Yeah, they're called dialogue tags. If you want to know more, look them up on Google. Did not know that's what they were called. I just wrote down. Blah blah blah. Ichigo, what about breakfast? Asked Yuzu. Not hungry, Yuzu. I'll see you later. Enjoy school. Shouted back Ichigo before taking off in a sprint to school. Line break. Ichigo was walking to his usual classroom when he bumped into a girl of average height, reaching around 1.5 meters in height. If you're gonna say the person was average height, average weight, average looks, don't then proceed to describe those looks, height, weight, etc. That's the point of saying they're average. Now, obviously, you would be like, okay, maybe average height in Japan, average height in America, to give more of a descriptor, but average height still works just fine, because it should be expected by the reader, if it's in a modern setting, to know the roughly stereotyped size of people of countries. You know, for Japan and China and America, yeah, etc. Yeah. If it's average, don't say anything. It'll be assumed. Exactly.
Because that's how descriptions
blah blah blah,
work.
describing Orihime. Her name's Orihime anyway. Oh hey Orihime, hey, what's up? Said Ichigo, being broken out of his internally musings. Musings.
Please tell me you're reading that wrong.
No, being broken out of his internally musings due to the bump. Ooh, she looks great. Take her right now, said a strange voice.
What? Who? It's like I've never heard voices before.
What? Who? Said Ichigo, looking around in confusion. Hey, are you even listening to me, Ichigo? Said Ichigo's childhood friend, Tatsuki. Again, comma before the name.
Plots, not the P word.
This author needs to learn proper word placement, for fuck's sake. Okay, yeah, no. You do bring up a good point, and this is something that I have actually
Hannibal Lecter meeting the Green Goblin. Now, that's an interesting character.
This is something that I have brought up before to people outside of this stream. Part of the fanfiction.net agreement of posting your story on fanfiction.net is that to the best of your abilities, you have both spell checked, grammar checked, and properly done the language you are writing in. This also means, if you are not proficient in the language you are writing in, that you seek out assistance in the form of a beta, which can be either provided by fanfiction.net's beta system, or you can seek out yourself. Yeah, you can't join the stream chat directly. You have to join the general chat in the Discord for us to bring you into the stream chat. That's
because we keep stream chat locked for a very good reason.
Indeed. We want to regulate the flow of people that come into our channel.
Because I'm not trying to be mean, but no, actually I am trying to be mean. We don't trust you people.
Hearing voices in your head after a near-death experience, that's healthy. Well, technically, Isley, he did in fact die. And if that beta's name is Max, is a beta Max? Yes, indeed. Did Fitz get into your stream chat? What is FTDS? And you have any ideas?
I don't know.
Seth.
Ow. Hey, what up?
Everyone say hi to Seth.
No, no one say hi.
No.
Leave the poor person
Fairy
alone.
Tale no, Fairy Tale Dragon Slayer has never gotten into our stream chat.
We hope someday that occurs.
I think he would just try to stab me. because he's got some.
I mean, yeah, be great. I mean, probably not for you, but
Hey. Anyway.
What is up, friendos?
Proceeds to describe Tatsuki. Nothing much. We're just, dying inside.
we're reading terrible fanfiction.
Ooh, a feisty one, huh?
Excellent.
They're great too! Said the same voice Ichigo heard earlier.
Like, you really think he'd be asking more questions at this point?
Huh? Oh yeah, sorry about that, Tatsuki. Are you alright, Orihime? Said Ichigo before kneeling down and offering Orihime his hand. Orihime quickly made up an excuse about having volleyball while assuring Ichigo that she was fine. What is that voice? Thought Ichigo. Wait, Fairy Tail Dragon Slayer was in your Discord channel?
Woo!
Ichigo absent-mindedly walked to his seat and sat down. So, Ichigo, I heard a truck crashed into your house today, said Kigo Asano. Kigo was a teenager with medium-long brown hair, which flips outwards, and was good friends with Mizuro.
For fuck's sake!
I
He
love
name-dropped me in one of his chapters. That's fucking great. I've actually had a author. I've been name dropped 3 times by authors that disliked me.
Oh,
Oh,
3
shit.
times.
I
knew about 2 of them.
And I was name dropped twice by authors that did like me in my reviews. And one author actually straight up, instead of an author's note, just published my review of their story because they found it so funny. Hashtag medium popular fanfic author life.
Excellent.
Zeke
Hashtag
says
still a
you should
useless
enable
piece of
push to
shit.
talk because your clicking is loud.
Lumiere.
All the descriptions are killing the pace of this story. Yeah, Isley, you're right. Yes. Your
Alright.
click clacking
Alright, my bad.
is apparently unacceptable to the viewers.
How
of this
dare you.
stream.
I am not even on a computer. I'm just on mobile, chilling.
Really, that is surprisingly good audio
Yeah,
quality
it
for
is
mobile.
actually fairly good audio.
It is my PS4 headphones.
That would
that explains
explain
it.
that. So, have you finished all the repairs yet? Asked Mizuro as the author proceeded to describe
Finished
another...
all the repair! Okay,
Yes.
look.
Yes.
It-
Yes. Yep. Hey, I heard a truck just plowed through your stone house. Have you finished fixing it yet?
What?
That
Look,
happened
I don't know
last
how it is
night.
in Japan, but in America, it would be at least 3 days before you could even get a fucking general contractor out there.
Yeah.
Then, the contractor, there's a 50-50 chance that if you've never needed to hire a general contractor before, so this is someone who you don't know, they might just not show up.
Yeah.
They might just not show up
Yeah.
and reschedule for some time, anywhere from 1 to 5 days later. Somewhere in that time period, a general contractor will arrive.
And plus, there's the whole you gotta wait 5 years for them to even do anything.
Yeah.
That-
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, first you have to wait for them to show up. Then they'll tell you what's gonna go on. They'll be like, oh, well, so I'll need to contact this guy for this, I'll need to contact this guy for this, and this guy for this.
Well, yeah, obviously, Calvin, you describe people that no one would have any idea of what they look like. It's just like, hey, this is the cast of Bleach characters that everyone who's ever watched Bleach should know. Let me meticulously describe every one of them, while
And
paying
this isn't even
special attention
a
to the
crossover.
breasts.
This is just a Bleach fanfiction. It's just Bleach.
Oh, I almost killed him.
So, there should be no
Mizuro
reason.
is a he. Yes, they did in fact ask Ichigo if Ichigo was done repairing his house. This is true.
Apparently, Ichigo's a contractor now.
Yes, no, Arn, you must write to the best of your ability. That is part of the publishing agreement you agree to when you publish a story. It is, let me bring it up.
They want to prevent shit posting.
Publish rules and guidelines. Okay, so this is the rules and guidelines of posting. Fanfiction content guidelines. The chapter system is not to be used as a placeholder for non-story content such as author notes. Fanfiction is not an archive for non-fanfiction literary works. Do not upload chapters, series, or segments of a story as separate entries. In order to submit a 5-chapter story, use the Create Story page, submit Chapter 1, and then submit Chapters 2 through 5 as separate entries. Entries not allowed: list, bloopers, polls, previews, challenges, author notes, and etc. 1-2-line stories. Comments inserted. Okay. Mystery Science Theater stories are actually not allowed by fanfiction.net guidelines. Yeah. Stories with non-historical or non-fictional characters, which actually, this is amusing, because there is actually a section to write fanfiction about YouTubers. So I mean, I don't, and bands and whatnot. So I'm not quite sure, you know, how that matches up to what they've said. Any form of interactive entry, such as second person or reader-based, Q&As, and choose your adventures. As always, put those at the bottom of your story. Chat, script format, keyboard, dialogue-based entries. Basically anything that reads like a play. Yes, all the challenges inevitably include harems or furries, yes.
I mean, they don't all include them, but I would say 99%. There's going to be like 1% that doesn't.
General rules of posting on fanfiction.net. Entry titles and summaries must be K-rated, no exceptions. Entry titles must be given proper ratings, no exceptions. Entries must be placed in proper categories, no exceptions. Chapters of the same story are not allowed to be submitted as separate entries. All chapters and segments must be grouped together using the Edit Upload Chapter feature in the left menu. Basically saying you are not allowed to have Chapter 1 be Story 1, Chapter 2 be Story 2, Chapter 3 to be Story 3, etc. Also, fanfiction does not filter content and is an open system that trusts the writer's judgment. However, there is an inherent responsibility that falls to writers as a result. Here's a list of conducts that should always be observed. Spell check all story and poetry. There is no excuse for not performing this duty. If you do not have a word processor that has spell checking features, use search engines such as google.com to find one. Proofread all entries for grammar and other aspects of writing before submission. Hot off the press content is riddled with errors. No one is perfect, but it is the duty of the writer to perform to the best of his or her abilities. And then there's, you know, etiquette with respect reviewers. Not all reviewers are going to give you good reviews. Yeah, I know. That's community etiquette, but still. This is part of what you have to agree to post. You, like, it does not let you post a new story until you agree to this. Use proper text format. So they won't, basically what they're saying is they won't take down your story. Well, usually they won't take down your story for not following community etiquette, but your story can be reported for not following community etiquette. You can get your account deleted for not following community etiquette.
Wow, how come there's not so many deleted accounts?
Because fanfiction.net's run by volunteer work. They don't get paid for this.
Fair enough.
So
I wouldn't want to get
they're kind of, you know.
Lax. Fair enough. I gotta
Yeah, I
miss.
was gonna say, you can hardly blame them when some of this stuff
So
is just
typically what happens
so
with
bad.
this is that they get so many reports. And
Oh,
every
shit.
couple of years, they'll have a purge, basically, that occurs, where they just start deleting everything that's been reported.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, there's fanfiction purges happen every once in a while.
I heard of the one like back in 2006 or something where they deleted all the porn.
Yeah. The most recent purge is actually what spawned Archive of Our Own.
Like I've
Yeah.
heard of like that. It's
Yeah.
been
Because-
a while though.
People were like, huh, we want somewhere to post our porn.
Porn.
Yeah,
Let's go back.
the thing is, though, is there is an adult fanfiction.net website, though. And yes, it is a bit more difficult to upload there,
I bet.
but people should be uploading there. You know,
Sneaky needs to get his smut.
no,
that dang
it's...
porn.
I agree with fanfiction.net's
position
on this, is that there needs to be a separate website for
porn.
pornography in stories.
Okay.
And
I could see that. Because like you don't want like little Jimmy to be like, I'm gonna read
yeah, well,
fanfiction.
it's actually really bad in the Kingdom Hearts section, where
Oh,
like
Kingdom Hearts is the
99% of
worst.
it's all gay porn, and it's just like kids.
I remember
come to this
what
section
was it? When I first
read
started
Kingdom
reading
Hearts.
fanfiction, and
Oh,
I was
boy.
like, oh shit, I died. And I was like, oh, I want to read about this fandom.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
look,
right.
he's sucking on her titties like he wanted. And I was like
What?
7 or some shit.
What?
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Like,
I was
this
in
is not,
elementary
despite
school.
whatever your opinions on any of that is, it's not acceptable for fucking 7-year-olds to accidentally stumble upon porn because you didn't want to follow the rules.
Yeah, like I totally get that. Cause like that ain't fair for the little kids, and then like it makes the author
I was gonna
themselves
say,
look bad,
it
too.
was a huge problem with My Little Pony, where they were like,
I remember that like they did a safe search thing or whatever, like a little campaign. So like, Sarah.
yeah, they're like, hey guys,
the
what
bronies
if-
did a cleanup campaign.
I remember that.
Yeah. Because there was so much pornography of My Little Pony, they're like, okay, we actually have to clean up the community so the kids that actually enjoy this show can look up
Yeah.
Rainbow Dash or something, and then not just get Rainbow Dash being plowed by 10 dudes.
Oh shit, I died.
because
Oh.
it's, you know what? No child should have to see that.
Yeah, no, it is not something that regardless of your opinions on it.
Where is the
It's not
Rickmobile?
something a kid should be like, oh, I want to, see more Rainbow Dash pictures, and then it's just
Finds
Rainbow
porn.
Dash sucking dicks, and it's just like,
Oh, I made mistakes.
you know,
Save me. I made mistakes.
all aboard the derail train, yes indeed. We've
sorry.
actually been pretty good so far. We're only at 5.
I was gonna say, hold on a minute. This is pretty on topic.
Diva, save me.
Diva will not save you.
Diva will never say.
I got stuck in a
Oh,
junk
but yeah,
rat
no,
trap.
that's my other complaint, is even with, like, story, sections
Oh.
like Assassin's Creed. Like, I wanted to read more Assassin's Creed stories. I don't know why,
boy.
but I did once. This is actually a huge problem with Prototype as well.
Oh dear, Sneaky. Calvin doesn't seem to think that you can have a porn story with horses.
Oh, you poor innocent
Sir,
Oh.
the internet has found a way.
Yeah. As I was saying, can I be saved by Wonder Woman? You wish. Sorry, Eyes, I didn't mean to ignore you. I just didn't have the YouTube chat up. As I was saying, it's all gay porn. It's all Desmond gay porn, and it's like, this isn't what I came to this section for. I came to this section for Assassin's Creed stories, not gay fantasies.
And look, y'all can have those. There's a place for that. We don't care what it is.
The place isn't here.
The place
that's
is
my point.
adult fan fiction, or
The place is
Archive of Our Own.
or Desmond's a gay slut.com, or whatever. Just
Not
not
here.
in the general fanfiction section. Gayest fandom is Supernatural. Yes, there's a lot of Wincest and Destiel. Yes, that is.
Oh my god, there were so many fucking people at Champlain that I wanted to murder Sneaky. I
know, you've told me about this a lot.
I know, but every time you say it, it triggers me.
You get the Supernatural comment so fucking often at Champlain.
It's like, oh, you have a brother and your last name's Winchester? Have you seen Supernatural? Yes.
Oh god.
Are you guys having sex? What?
Yeah.
I think you might have been there for one of them.
Yeah.
Like they asked me questions like that, and I'm like, y'all are goddamn deranged.
Yeah, no. The other thing, though, is why I'm really confused with Prototype and their obsession with making Alex Mercer, the living virus, homosexual. It's like...
You're homosexual.
He's asexual. He reproduces by jamming himself into people and ripping apart their bodies on a cellular level. That's how he reproduces.
I was gonna say, I guess if you want to make that sexual, you can.
I mean, yes, you can make that sexual, but it's still not gay. It's asexual reproduction. That involves a lot of gore.
You're a gore. Where are you, Farrah?
So much gore.
It was so bad, Supernatural did an episode that called out the fandom. Yeah. Yeah, no,
I
it was...
remember that.
Yes.
Really?
Okay, yeah, so for those of unaware, Supernatural is actually extremely self-aware. They've done a self-aware episode where they made fun of Supernatural. And the Supernatural book series is actually a thing in the Supernatural world. And they use the book series to make fun of the fandom and their cliches and tropes that they do when they write fanfiction for it.
That's
I was gonna say, for a while they had it was like she was literally a Supernatural fanfiction author.
Yes. Yeah, I actually remember that episode. That was actually pretty funny. The three stages of cancer. The Harry Potter fandom. Becky, yes. Yes. Remember that the internet in Japan made to make tentacles a thing, and that in lollies. Well, the tentacle thing from Japan was because there was a law against penises in porn. So they were just like, well, okay, how about octopus?
Because that's better.
Look, it got past the censors. That was what they cared about.
Okay, the Twilight fandom is literally just Twilight, but whoever's writing it. Like, the main character of Twilight is so fucking bland that everyone inserts themselves over them. And just writes Twilight like that.
Do you ever just fuck up so badly that your characters are shit?
Yeah, I actually did read a prototype Twilight fanfiction one time where Alex Mercer ripped apart the Twilight family. It was good stuff.
Oh god.
I
need to actually res people.
Anyway, let us continue with Bleach. And while you drink Bleach. How do I remember? What is cancer and how do we stop it? Unfortunately, that question will never be answered. Have you finished the repairs? Are you kidding? It's going to take weeks, said Ichigo in exasperation. I could help, said deep voice next to Ichigo. Ichigo turned his head and blanched at how close his friend Chad was standing next to him. Yatsura Sato, or as Ichigo calls him, Chad, was a teenager of Mexican descent. He was dark-skinned, with wavy brown hair that generally hung over his brown eyes. He was a muscular...
Say he looked like he was from Texas? because
He
you just
was
described like half the
muscular
people
and
from
extremely
Texas.
tall man. See, the funny thing about how Bleach went with this is that apparently it's not just Japanese people that go to Soul Society. It's literally everyone in the world. Because Chad's father, who lives in Chad's grandfather, who lived in Mexico, ended up in the Soul Society when he died. So apparently
shit,
everyone
that's
from
cool.
around the world goes to the Soul Society when they die, except only Japanese people do, aside from this little tiny hovel that his grandfather lived in. You have written 500 words for the Hagrid heresy, and I'm not proud. That's unfortunate. You should be
Hagrid
proud.
heresy. I am not
If you
doing
can't
good
kill the
today.
cell,
as
kill the
Moisey.
person. Indeed. Ghostbusters Bleach crossover, does that thing exist? Yes, probably.
I'm sure it does.
If there's a crossover of it, it probably exists.
Oh my god. It's even worse than I thought. They aren't normal hollows. They're Nazi hollows.
Not what? What? Did you just make me hear that with my own one ear?
We did. We've ruined your poor virgin ears with that horrible phrase.
Oh god, is this written by R9K?
Please tell me.
Yes.
Who the fuck is R9K?
It's the hollow.
Did you just assault my ear with a shitty pun now?
To be fair, that's Chat's fault.
God damn.
Okay.
I want to
Was
die.
not prepared for that one, though.
The Holocaust. God damn it.
You people are pathetic.
I did not see that one coming.
You know what? I woke up this morning, wasn't expecting that.
Let's quit stalling for time.
God damn. Speaking of shittiness, if you're in Texas, you should buy my art. Hey, Lamau.
Don't encourage her, people.
Oh shit, what are they saying? I need to
Japanese are
actually-
weird, lack of normal porn, you thought, I know, octopus. As a general rule, if you can ask the question, the answer is probably yes.
Gay porn of King of Hearts. God damn.
Okay.
I mean, there's a multitude of that.
I've recollected myself.
Have you?
So you
Have
think
you?
Hitler would make a Vasto Lorde?
God damn.
I hate all of you. Deeply, truly.
Madly. Ah.
Okay. Ichigo was saved from responding due to a new voice. Nice to meet you, said a feminine voice. Ichigo turned his head to the side and looked over at the desk next to him, somehow completely missing the fact that Rukia was fucking there. What is she
Exactly
doing
that.
here? Panicked Ichigo internally.
She's trying to get some of that D!
She wants a D!
Take your vitamin D.
Bring out the dead!
Hey, I hit him.
A feminist voice.
You're a feminist voice.
There is no D in Ichigo.
That
dead.
didn't seem to stop him before.
But there is a D in Chad. Heyo!
Filthy Chads.
I want to point out, we've got 8 people watching this.
Yep.
Hey, what up, 8 people?
We have people that show up for this. This is
Yes, people show up for this.
How does this make you feel?
It
Does
makes
this
me
make you
feel
accomplished?
Elated. There we go. Elated.
Oh my god, this person's scary on mic.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
Oh god, please save me.
No one can save you now.
Here we go.
Right.
Oh,
Oh my-
Ichigo, this is Rukia Kuchiki. She transferred here today after her family had to move suddenly, said Mizurio.
Missouri.
Missouri, really? Tell me, which part of the United States is he from?
Stammered Ichigo. It's a pleasure to meet you, Ichigo Kurosaki, said Rukia, extending her hand towards Ichigo's dick. Ichigo glanced at her hand and saw
Wait a minute.
What?
Pretty sure that was not part of it.
No, that was definitely there.
What the fuck?
No, pretty sure it wasn't.
The author did mention small harem.
What the fuck? What? So are these like all OCs or some shit? Because I haven't watched Bleach in 500 years.
We've spent like the past hour just ranting about how in the first quarter of the chapter he's proceeded to meticulously describe every single Bleach character.
But you already know what they look like. Like, if I was writing fucking fanfiction about
Ichigo
Final Fantasy, I
Nagasaki.
wouldn't,
Listen,
fucking
we had that rant.
content.
We've
had
been
that
having
rant.
that rant.
God damn, son. Who the fuck is Evan Brindley?
Ichigo glanced at her hand and saw that written on it were the words, "Say something and I'll kill you," which unnerved him greatly.
Okay, I understand it's in Japanese, but damn, that's impressive!
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Getting all that on one hand?
Yeah, that's it's a miniaturization.
They got skills to pay the bills.
Lion break! Okay, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you have gone back to your Soul Society place? Questioned Ichigo once he and Rukia had gone outside, away from any other people. Well, I'm not feeling quite up to it yet since you have half of my powers, and besides, I have been assigned to the protection of Karakura Town, summarized Rukia, leaving out the fact that giving a human the powers of a Shinigami was illegal in accordance with the laws of Soul Society.
What the fuck? That was like a mess to listen to. I'm sorry you had to read that.
What? Nani? How do I have the powers of a Shinigami? Look, I don't have that robe anymore. Where did those powers you're talking about go? Asked Ichigo, gesturing to his clothes all the while. They are inside you, your soul to be precise, not your body. Since you now possess half of my powers, it is your duty to assist me, as I am not sure how I will cope in my hollow slaying duties at half strength. Furthermore, you can't refuse me as you were, said Rukia before Ichigo cut her off. I refuse, said Ichigo.
You can't refuse me, I refuse! What did I just say?
Stopping Rukia in the middle of her monologue. I'm not doing it! The only reason I could yesterday was because my family was in danger. I refuse to fight those monsters on a daily basis. I'm pretty sure.
Didn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said yes. Said Ichigo. Hey, I'm not a monster, you pansy! Shouted an angry voice.
Angry voice.
My Nakama were in danger!
What?
Nakama means friend. And
I hate you and everything you stand for.
Thanks, fam.
You are everything that is wrong with humanity.
Me? Or the chat?
This author.
Oh, yes, that too. That the IMF said, should any of your team be captured or killed, the minister will disavow knowledge of this mission. What is that voice? Thought Ichigo desperately. Ichigo was brought out of his musings courtesy of Rukia slamming a gloved hand into his face, forcefully separating his soul from his body. What the hell did you do? Asked Ichigo, more angry than confused. Come with me.
She hit your soul spot, Ichigo!
She hit you right in your soul!
Rip.
Oh, good. Sneaky, we've gained another viewer. People, you need to stop showing up for this.
I'll punch you right in your soul!
You're a soul.
You're a soul, Larry!
You're a soul, Larry. You're a hollow.
You're a hard Ichigo!
Oh my god. I need to finish packing, but this is much more entertaining.
Of course. I'm always more entertaining.
Right?
Ichigo and Rukia now stood on the edge of a park. I'm not sure parks have edges?
They do, kind of. The outskirts of a park.
Yeah, I would say the outskirts more than the edge. Am I trying to do a Scottish accent? No, I'm just trying to not be American. But I probably failed at that. So.
I am 800% American.
We are Legion, we're the Borg, we are desperate. Indeed. Ichigo was clad in his Shinigami guard, while Rukia was fiddling with a mobile. What are we doing here?
She was fiddling, eh?
Yes, she fiddles a lot with electronic devices in her hand.
Fiddle those sticks.
Ichigo asked. Do any souls come by here? Questioned Rukia vaguely. What kind of fucking question is that? Hey, come with me! Alright, why are we at this park? Do souls be here? Why are you asking me that? You're the one that brought me here!
This was your stupid plan!
You just punched my soul out of my body! Why the fuck did you bring me to a park?
Speaking of which, can we hurry this up? I need to get back for World Civ. I want to point out, the amount of school Ichigo missed, he needs to be a goddamn genius to ever graduate.
Yeah.
Or he can just drop like a normal human being.
Or just,
I don't know, are they allowed to do that in Japan?
I don't know, are they?
No, but I do believe they have a similar system to America where you can take a homeschooling test.
And get your GED.
Yeah, and get your equivalent of a GED. Like I said, I believe though. I'm not certain. So don't quote me on that. A small boy, maybe 5 years old, comes by here around. Why the fuck do you know about small ghost boys coming to a park around noon?
Because...
Hey man, it's legal if they're dead.
Oh shit.
It's not child pornography if the child's dead, it's only necrophilia at that point.
You are getting taken so massively out of context with that one.
What the fuck? I'm doing so good.
It's actually funny how out of context you're going to end up as.
Out of context.
So is it Tsugaya necrophilia? I mean, if it's soul on soul and souls are eternal, who can really say age? It's just a number.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and say anything that happens to Hitsugaya is statutory.
Prepare for the quote mine. I expect t-shirts. Alright? Thick Sugaya. Oh my god. Friend of yours? Asked Rukia. Hardly. I've only seen him about 4 times, replied Ichigo. What does that mean, anyway? Asked Ichigo, pointing at the message on Rukia's phone. It says that a hollow is going to appear here at noon, most likely due to that boy, said Rukia, before the sound of a child screaming grabbed their attention.
Hold on a minute. I don't know if that's the canon line or not. And if it is, then this is a problem that extends to canon, but it's going to appear at noon. Like, how the fuck do you know that?
Yeah, as far as my knowledge goes when it comes to Bleach, the hollow trackers can only track hollows that have appeared. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I didn't know that they'd equip the time and space tracking module.
Yeah, the future prediction tracking module, indeed. Help! Shouted a child of around 5 years of age, who was being chased by a spider-like hollow. Where are you going? Asked Rukia, seeing Ichigo had stood up and begun to walk towards the hollow. To save that kid, said Ichigo. Does that mean you will do the same for other souls? If not, you would be better off not saving that kid. I know no one can see my face right now, but just because you're helping someone in danger in front of you doesn't mean you're suddenly going to sign up to be a fireman or a policeman.
Okay, yes, that's fair, but that's literally how it happened in the show.
I'm aware of that, but it's just like, boy, this remake of Quantum Leap is great. I got that reference! You were not promised plots. You were never promised plots on this episode, show, podcast thing.
I am not doing good. This one.
Fucking do better then.
I know, right? I suck with Reaper.
Well,
how do you suck with Reaper?
There's your first problem.
I'm not good at FPSs, okay?
Well, she's also playing on a Yoshi
It's shotguns!
She's playing on a
Get 2 inches away from them!
It doesn't help that no one knows how to
Don't be heartless. I'm saving him because I want to. That's all the reason I need.
I'm saving him because who else will give me ghost hand jobs?
Dude.
What?
Said Ichigo before jumping over the railings surrounding the park. Stop! Shouted Rukia. Ichigo paused momentarily before continuing onwards. Ichigo jumped over the fleeing child and stabbed his blade straight through the hollow's mask. Ichigo slammed
I feel like
sword.
that poor child would get like some.
Yeah. Slammed his sword into the ground, scarring the soul due to almost having his head driven through by his sword. I'm not making any commitment here. I may not stay and fight all the time, and I might run away. However, I'm not the kind of person who can leave his debts unpaid. So since you have helped me out, I guess I need to help you out with this Shinigami thing, said Ichigo with a smile. Is ghost trauma a thing?
Wasted his
Maybe.
ult to heal one person.
Incompetent teammates, you'll never get rid of them.
Rukia smiled before responding. Thanks. I wonder what happened to Ichigo, said Orihime, thinking aloud. It's 2 words. It's also out loud. I believe. No, is it loud 1 word or 2 words?
I can Google this.
I can also Google this.
Don't worry, we have the technology.
We have
no, we don't.
Aloud is 1 word. How about that?
Yes.
But it's in a loud tone.
Oh.
So yes, in this situation, I'm right. In this situation is said Orihime thinking out loud because she's not shouting.
Aloud shouting.
Has anyone else read 30HS? I have no idea what that is. That ghost is scarred for life. Or, well, on life, I guess.
That poor child. He's like, I'm just doing ghost things.
I'm just being a ghost and shit, and now I'm trying to be eaten by a spider.
Mmm. Tasty.
Okay. That was creepy. A car beeped their horn. She wouldn't really be able to avoid the car. She closed her eyes. She was nudged out of the way of the car.
Why is this person just rehashing it? Like, fine.
Blah,
I understand
blah,
you want to
blah.
start from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's basically, it's been so far.
But if you're gonna start from the beginning, make some changes.
Well, I mean, that's what they're doing, don't you know? They're basically rehashing canon, but this time, we get rapey comments from his inner hollow. Man, isn't that amazing?
That's all I wanted in my fucking shit. Bleach, there we go. That helps.
You want rape with your bleach?
Yes, who doesn't?
Excellent.
Me? I don't.
That's not how you spell gelatin.
But it doesn't make the
wait.
fangirls moist. Come on now.
I mean, I get you're the fangirl, so we'll have to listen to your opinion.
Yeah, I have a vagina. Listen to me.
Boy, we're getting kicked off Twitch real quick.
Blah blah blah, rehashing Orihime's eating an interesting car. Hey Orihime, what happened to your arm? Asked Ichigo, seeing her bandaged arm. Oh, I was hit by a car.
No, okay, that is not the author's fault. She was that blasé about it.
That is true. I will blame Canon Bleach for this. Even being winged by a car. That's quite
I
significant
remember that
damage to you.
episode. She was like,
No, I hope you remember that episode. That was like the second one.
I only watched like the first couple ones because I got lazy and stopped watching it.
Yeah, that's a fair enough.
That was a good decision.
That's a fair enough approach to it.
Like,
That mark on your leg, can I see it? She examined
shit, I'm dead.
Orihime's leg. That's a wound a hollow inflicts. Scary face. Oh yeah, this is the Orihime's younger brother, or older brother shows up and has a hollow, and Ichigo saves her. Spoiler alert!
oh,
Episode
no.
2.
Yeah.
I think I have the first like 2 DVDs.
Ichigo and
like, some
Orihime
random
walking
shit.
home. Would one of you bloody say something? Granted a voice in Ichigo's head. Alright, and Ichigo follows through. So, how does your leg feel? It stings. I'll manage. Waving her hands. Hurts to walk. You can lean on me. Ichigo doesn't say that. Is Aizen still alive? Yes. This is the start of Bleach. Aizen's alive. Ichigo, blah blah blah. Ichigo missed. You, blah blah. Yeah, blah blah blah. Thank you for the offer, but I'm fine. While cursing her lack of assertiveness. Or no. Damn it! I'm fighting a losing battle with this girl. She is too shy. Mused the hollow in Ichigo's head.
What the fuck? Did Ichigo have an inner hollow?
Yeah,
I can't
he
remember. Okay.
Yeah, that's what this story is about. It's like, what if the Quincy didn't be the hollow sword thing? And what if instead the hollow sword was the hollow sword first?
Yeah, sure. What the fuck?
And so basically, it's just been a canon rehash, except the hollow chimes in with rapey comments that tries to make a harem.
Yes.
Occasionally.
Really, really rapey comments.
Ichigo got enough of the spirit in his head, but there's a lot more to me. It's not important right now. You might want to roll left. Rukia separate Ichigo's soul. Aim for the head, blah blah blah. Hollow
Aim
trying to
for the
kill
head!
him.
Angry Japanese person.
The Hollow gave out a blood-curdling scream and sunk back into the void. That was Orihime's brother. What are Hollows?
Excellent.
The safest method of killing them is to ensure you don't see the identity of the Hollow, because Hollows
Doesn't
are
mean I
souls
don't
that are
want to meet
formerly
him.
humans.
Doesn't mean I don't want to eat them. Yes.
EGM blah blah blah. Canon rehash. Canon rehash. Canon rehash.
Rehashing.
I've never heard of a Hollow that doesn't feed on human souls. More comments from the Hollow in Ichigo's head.
Oh my god.
Fucking
This
canon
drunk
rehash.
person.
Jesus fucking Christ. This whole fucking thing's a goddamn canon rehash.
Maybe they. Why don't they just like call it a novelization then? Like.
Because it's different.
Okay.
It's different because they said it's different.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
I should really be responsible and do things. I like listening to this podcast much more.
Okay. Because my anime titties. Yeah. Why is breast size that important? Yeah, basically anime titties. Because people are lonely, lonely sons of bitches. Alright, so this is actually a request. The following one is a request by Twisted Light, who is from the R Fanfiction community. Now, why am I being pinged? Wait, Overkill is posting memes?
Dankest memes.
Dankestmemes.com, a place for your dankest memes.
The people who made Payday are making fun of Pickle Rick. Thank you, people who made Payday. You are a little bit less shit in my eyes now.
I mean, they're still pretty shit.
No, they're still pretty shit, don't get me wrong there. That doesn't change at all.
I need to pack.
Anyway, let's finish this idiocy, shall we?
Yep, so as I said, I'm just looking them up. This is by Twisted Light, who Seth and Zeke should know. He linked me his story earlier, because he wanted me to review it live on the podcast. Well, he wanted me to review it, but then I was like, I'll review it live on the podcast, and he was like, yeah, sure. It is a Naruto story.
Naruto stories.
Self-insert OC.
God damn, this sounds terrible.
Yeah, there you go. Alright, Seth, we shall be dropping you from this call.
Alright.
Oh, we're dropping her?
Have fun in your Overwatch.
Okay. Peace.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring her in for the Bleach one. To hear her
Gotcha.
comments. Yep.
About how Bleach is goddamn fucking trash.
Yeah, Bleach is trash.
Fight me.
Kira, read through first encounter without being disgusted. Kill them all.
What's this? Who are we killing?
Alright, so this is, again, like I said, by Twisted Light. I'll be dropping it in the Discord as always. And let's get rolling. So this is Leaflet by the Twisted Light, a Naruto story. Take a chance with your last roll at the Karma Roulette. Be wary though it's a wild spin might send you off to a new beginning, in a world you deemed fictional. Self-insert OC. Can I get a link? Yeah, Isley, it's in our Discord chat, which is in the description for YouTube videos, or in the panels down below if you're on Twitch. Arn Jacob, welcome to the server. Let me,
Congratulations, you've joined the server.
Indeed.
You may regret it, but you can't leave.
Yes, however. Yep, it's in the Fict 9K section of the Discord server. I find it just easier to distribute them there. Alright, Calvin. See ya. No problem, Seth. We just wanted you on as a temporary guest star. I did at least.
Next time, you should just kill your roommate.
Yeah, just murder your roommate live, and that'll get us plenty of views.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly encourage that. And then rob a bank. Because, I mean,
no,
you might as well
no,
go.
we don't encourage any of those things.
Maybe. Yeah, probably not, no. Don't rob a bank.
Probably
Definitely
not,
do not
no.
give me a share of the funds either. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for choosing to waste your time to read my feeble attempt at fanfiction today. This is my
I'm glad this author's aware of what's going on.
Oh, by the way, I will preface this. This man is, in fact, Russian. English is not his first language.
They give you rights to... Yeah, but here's the thing. If you kill them, you can take your car. That's how the law works.
Yeah, exactly.
You kill someone, you get their possessions.
This is my first OC self-insert piece, and the first chapter is sort of a prologue for things to come, so it's probably shorter than the next chapters will be. This is just a recommendation on a fanfiction.net level. There is a chapter naming system. I encourage people to take advantage of it so people know if it's a prologue, if it's an epilogue, if it's an interlude, etc. It can definitely, prevent certain people from ranting at you about chapter length or about what's happening in the chapter. If they know it's in fact a setup chapter, or if it's, you know... Yes, this is Twisted's fic. I've said this like 10 times now. Zeeks, come on. English is not my native language, so expect messy grammar and misuse of concepts. Reviews are welcome, as it is impossible to learn without knowing the impact the creation made on the reader. Huge thanks to all the kind people at r/fanfiction and its Discord server. Their help and support is what jolted me to post this now, instead of me waiting and sifting through my material. Huge thanks to you again, the reader, for deciding to check out my thing. So without further ado, the leaflet begins. Chapter 1. It awoke. Darkness and water were still fresh in its mind. Was it still wet around? Did it not seem to be so? In fact, there seemed nothing to be all around. I will admit, he was right about the spelling and grammar. You can, in fact, tell English is not his first language. Which, I mean, fair enough. But, as I've always said, you probably should at least get at least one person to check who's a native speaker before you, post it.
It just keeps things easy.
Yes, Twisted Light does in fact write in haikus when he is not writing fanfiction. Yeah, so he can. But it seems he should stick to writing haikus a little bit longer. While he figures out grammar. I have no doubt that he's probably improved by this point. Hopefully, at least. It's 9 chapters long. You've read this. That's impressive. Nothing bad by the end of the note. It's sad that it's a good thing by our standard. Yes, this is true. We actually haven't ranted about it, so yeah. Uncontrollable passing thought is in parentheses. I mean, so this is the key part. This is where I've talked about it before. Having a legend allows you to do more things than the standard English does. So in this case, they have outlined that thoughts are specifically normal thoughts, and they're italicized. But things that are bolded, and parentheses are uncontrollable passing thoughts, as if it was a memory or association. So, the sort of thing you would think of when you first see something.
Apparently, Devil Spidey has read this, and he stopped halfway because it was uninteresting.
Well, then we will see. We will see. Yeah, to be fair, we touched on this with Cold Ruiners, story that we read. You may know him as Kugel in the chat. The first part of any fan fiction story, and for generally the first part of any story itself, needs to be the hook. And I've said this before, and I'll always say it. The summary needs you to get you to open up the book. The first sentence needs you to get you to read the paragraph. The paragraph needs to get you to read the first chapter. The first chapter needs to get you to read the rest of the book. And that is how you should structure your first paragraph and your first chapter and summary. Everything needs to lead into each other to make you continue reading on. Past that point, you can get psychotropy as you want, but you need to have the person reading it interested in it to read the psychotropy. This is important for normal published fiction as well, not just fandoms, especially for published fiction, because if you start with this whole acid trip kind of first chapter, I know a lot of people are going to immediately put down the book and be uninterested in it.
And it's not, strictly speaking, like a shot at you.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying this is not a shot at Twisted. This is not a
yeah,
shot
no, I'm agreeing
Google.
with you, like...
Yeah. This is just in general. Everything needs to lead into each other. You can have... Yeah, that's... Yeah. That is, as you were saying, Google. Chapter length isn't entirely an issue. I know there are people out there that don't read long chapters for some reason. But you don't want to introduce too much that is straying from your canon fandom, or if you're writing original fiction, you don't want to be just throwing all this like complex shit at people. You want to dribble it in. That is actually one of the things that Aragon did get right. Is they dribbled details in. Okay, so he's a farmer, he's a hunter, he lives in a village, the village is an empire, the empire is ruled by a crazy-ass king who has a dragon. You know, it wasn't just in all one chunk.
Up until you get to the, you know, there's a crazy king with a dragon. I mean, heck, even when you get to just the crazy king part, all of that is a very logical progression. Like, people understand it. It's... Because so much of it makes sense, it's much easier to swallow it when it goes, oh, by the way, the king is insane, okay, and he has a dragon. You're just like, oh, okay. Because nothing has yet been unbelievable.
Well, it's not even that. When you're setting up the suspension of disbelief, you want to build upon it. You don't want to just be like, boom, hey, here's the afterlife, and there's a god everywhere, it's a chess game, and I'm using Kugel's story as an obvious example to this, but you get my point. You don't want to just, like, shove it into their face, be like, hey, here's all this complex shit that's going on that might be interesting, but right now you have no fucking clue what's going on, so you're not interested, and you're gone. Yeah, you have 15 minutes to tell me how your story goes until it's lost. You have 5 minutes to amaze me. Those are generally good ideas when it comes to introducing your fanfiction or your original story. Again, you have a lot more to work with when you're writing for a fandom because a lot more's already been established. So it's a lot easier to introduce your changes in without, like, shattering people's suspension of disbelief. As long as you do it properly, of course. He uses the dragon as a water slide. And like how Worm didn't bring you up to the you-know-what until much later. Yeah, Worm's actually an amazing example of this. It starts off, it's a dystopia. Yeah, okay, everyone has superpowers, obviously some people can be villains with it. And from there, it builds upon it, and builds upon it, and builds upon it, and builds upon the world. And as the chapters go on, as the arcs go on, you learn more about the world. You learn, it all built upon itself. And Worm's a great example because it's so long, it uses so many themes from different genres. It uses, has a large variety of characters, has a large way of introducing them, whether it's through the dynamic entry of a hero, the villainous monologue, an action scene.
I was gonna say, don't forget other people being like, "Oh, have you heard about? X is here." Like they don't even necessarily expand on X and why X group is terrifying.
Like they even used the character going to school and the history teacher talking about shit to introduce to show the changes that diverged from our world. Worm has, yes, I will admit though, Worm has probably the dumbest title ever. But to be fair, pretty much all of Wild Bow's stories have the most completely irrelevant titles to them. Packed, Twig, and Worm, none of those titles have pretty much anything to do with the stories they contain.
Okay, at least Worm has a little something.
Sort of.
I said a little. It's closer than most of them.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the original point of it all. You got to bring people in. Psychotropy messes are good for exposition, but they're not good for hooking people into it. And that's what you need to do right at the start, is you need to hook people in. That's the most important part to get them to read it. And then this is one of the reasons why I have a large problem with authors that go, story gets better as you go on. It's the same. It's not just in fanfiction either. It's with fandoms like Ruby, the actual show itself. It's problem. I have a problem with a couple of other shows that do this as well, like One Piece. Apparently, it's really good once you've gotten to episode 8,000, but it's like all the other ones I don't want to go through to get to that point. Yeah. And it's just the start of your story, regardless of the medium, regardless of the genre, going to set the tone for the rest of your story. It's the most, beyond the summary, it is the most important part of your story. Because it sets the expectations of how people are going to look at the rest of it. And if people see the first chapter of your story riddled with spelling errors and riddled with grammatical errors and it's boring and uninteresting, I'm not going to read the next chapter.
No one will.
Or first book syndrome, indeed. Indeed. It's I don't know how else to say it. It's a problem that is not just in fanfiction. It's a problem that a lot of series suffer from. It's a problem comics suffer from. It's a problem anime suffer from. It's a problem movies suffer from, it's a problem published books suffer from. And while I realize that obviously an author or writer in general is going to improve as the years go by and they get a better handle on where they want to take the story and how they want characters and everything, don't be surprised when people don't read your story or don't like what you've done if your first attempt wasn't that good. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I've seen a lot of people, I've had a lot of times with people. Especially with the weebs when it comes to anime. Sorry people, for some reason, I'm dropping frames here and there. I'm not quite sure what the hell's going on. I've always seen in media res as the most cop-out to start a new story.
It's certainly best.
I'm 50 on. Starting in the middle of action, or just skip the exposition and be like, hey, look at this, blank is happening. It can be done well. It can be. It can also, it's easily done poorly though, I think is the main problem.